looking to connect a region of over 600 cultural bridges between our lands.
Hello and welcome to ASEAN in Focus. I'm Maricar Velasco, delivering to you the latest news in and around the ASEAN region. On today's headlines, the two Reuters journalists were reunited with their families after being released in a presidential amnesty on Tuesday. The allegations made by Peter Joemel Advincula, aka Bicoy, as well as the timing of his press conference are part of a ploy to undermine the chances of President Rodrigo Duterte's senatorial candidates in the May 13 elections, a lawmaker at the House of Representatives said Tuesday. ASEAN and Norway reaffirmed their commitment to further strengthen their partnership at the fourth meeting of the ASEAN-Norway Joint Sectoral Cooperation Committee held at the ASEAN Secretariat. Two Reuters journalists jailed for their reporting on the Rohingya crisis in Myanmar walked out of prison on Tuesday, freed in a presidential amnesty. They were reunited with their families. Take a look.
We're really happy and excited to see our families and colleagues, and I don't know what to say. We are very excited.
What are you going to say to Pangy when you see her?
I usually bring iced coffee for her all the time, being home late. So I will buy coffee for her, and I will say how much I love her and how much I love my family.
The two men were convicted on charges of violating the Official Secrets Act and sentenced to 7 years each. At the time of their arrest, they had been reporting on a September 2017 massacre of 10 Rohingya Muslims and conflict-hit Rakhine State, where the Myanmar army forced some 740,000 of the stateless minority to flee over the border to Bangladesh. The case prompted an outcry around the world and crushed what was left of Suu Kyi's legacy as a rights defender. The editor-in-chief of Reuters says he is enormously pleased that Myanmar has released the news agency's two journalists from jail.
We are enormously pleased that Myanmar has released our courageous reporters, Walon and Chasou. Since their arrest 511 days ago, they have become symbols of the importance of press freedom around the world. We welcome their return.
Lord Darzi, a British advisor and confidant of Suu Kyi, said it was fitting the pair were released a few days after World Press Freedom Day.
It's perhaps fitting that they should have been released just a few days after the World Press Freedom Day. Today the world is watching, and the lesson is simple. Dialogue works, even in the most difficult circumstances.
They were freed in an amnesty that included more than 6,000 prisoners. A government spokesman told reporters that family members had sent letters to Suu Kyi and the president Win Myint. Suu Kyi led her National League for Democracy party to victory in historic 2015 polls, ending decades of military-backed rule. However, the dreams of a new day for Myanmar were short-lived. The army launched a campaign against the Rohingya in Rakhine State, which UN investigators have said amounted to genocide. Myanmar has denied the charges and said it was defending itself against Rohingya militants who attacked and killed police officers in August 2017. A lawmaker at the House of Representatives said the allegations made by Peter Joemel Advincula, aka Bicoy, as well as the timing of his press conference are part of a ploy to undermine the chances of President Rodrigo Duterte's senatorial candidates in the May 13 elections. Surigao del Norte Representative Robert Ace Barbers made the remarks after Advincula, a former marketing executive, surfaced Monday and asked for legal assistance from the Integrated Bar of the Philippines. He said the fact that Advincula surfaced exactly a week before the elections was obviously a move to discredit or weigh down the administration's rampaging candidates, which in this case was former special assistant to the president, Bongo. Barber said it runs smack of political opportunism that someone the people hardly know would come out, make a huge spectacle with just a week before the elections. The chair of the House of Committee on Dangerous Drugs also questioned Advincula's motive in offering himself to a Senate investigation instead of choosing to go to the National Bureau of Investigation, or NBI. He pointed out that it was odd that Bicoy, despite allegedly having all the pieces of evidence and so-called first-hand experience, would declare his willingness to testify before a Senate hearing. Barber said surely his allegations could be validated if he chooses to go to the NBI. Was his motive in questioning his motive in offering himself to a Senate investigation as a way to give audience to the opposition candidates. He added that if Advincula's allegations were really true, he could have brought his alleged evidence straight to the court, then appear in social media. He said if Bicoy is credible as he claims to be, he does not have to hide his identity and could even avail of the Department of Justice's Witness Protection Program. He continues to add it just won't add up and something fishy is going on, urging the public to be more critical of news materials that may contain false claims, especially now that the election is drawing near. The Integrated Bar of the Philippines, or IBP, on Wednesday declined the request of Peter Joemel Advincula alias Bicoy for free legal assistance. IBP President Abdiel Elijah S. Fajardo in a statement said the decision was reached after a thorough evaluation of his application was conducted by the NCLA, or National Center for Legal Aid. He said the decision was made based on the standards provided for in the NCLA Manual of Operations in approving such requests. Fajardo said, however, communications and documents submitted during consultation shall remain privileged and confidential. The IBP leadership explained that since its mandate is to provide access to justice for the poor and the marginalized, it cannot be seen to be siding with or going against any candidate or political party. Advincula had asked the IBP for free legal assistance and representation in the filing of charges against certain individuals, including candidates for elective positions, because of their alleged involvement in the illegal drug trade. The IBP explained his application was duly processed just like any other request by the NCLA. On Tuesday, the Davao City chapter of the IBP has criticized its national leadership's decision to allow Bicoy to appear in a press conference at the IBP office in Ortigas instead of the proper law enforcement agency. Earlier, Justice Secretary Menardo Guevara urged Advincula to go to the National Bureau of Investigation to bear all the substantiate and details of his allegations.
When visiting the Philippines, Manila or Quezon City is a popular destination. But oftentimes the hustle and bustle of the city can be more stressful on your vacation. So when you feel the need to reconnect to nature or relax again, there's a beautiful oasis just outside of the city called the Garden at Ciudad de Victoria. can see here include hydrangea, snapdragon, and stargazers. They're truly beautiful. The gardens at Ciudad de Victoria are so peaceful, tranquil, and beautiful that it's become a haven for young couples and a very popular venue for engagement photos. The next time you want an escape from the big city, the garden at Ciudad de Victoria is a wonderful place to visit.
Know the latest news and information here and abroad. In Aguila, Balita, track the latest happenings in the provinces in Aguila, Provincia. Be aware of important events in Asia, in ASEAN in Focus, and be updated in the biggest news around the world in Eagle News International. Tune into Mata ng Aguila and get the day's headlines and news that are sharp, accurate, and objective. Only here at Net 25.
Pep News, Linggo, alas 4 hanggang alas 5 ng hapon.
Welcome back. Malacanang said the Canadian government has committed to shoulder all the expenses of shipping out all 69 containers of trash dumped in the Philippines back in 2013. Presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo said the Department of Foreign Affairs, or DFA, and the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, or DENR, made the assurance during Monday night's cabinet meeting in Malacanang. Late last month, President Rodrigo Duterte gave Canada an ultimatum to take back its trash, warning that he would dump the trash back on their beaches if they would not comply. In a palace briefing, Panelo said the president has also ordered the Bureau of Customs not to accept foreign waste. Panelo said the chief executive is giving Canada until May 15 to retrieve its garbage.
They were given, the president gave May 15 as a deadline. If they cannot get that, then we will be shipping them out and throw them to the shores or beach of Canada.
Due to the recent earthquakes recorded in different parts of the country, the Commission on Elections, or COMELEC, is set to release rules on what to do in case tremors occurs on Election Day, an official said Tuesday. COMELEC spokesman James Jimenez said the rules of procedures are being prepared that will be implemented in the event earthquakes happen next week. In a media interview, Jimenez said they are doing their best to come up with this policy as quickly as possible. Jimenez noted that they are also coordinating with the Department of Education, or DepEd, to check on school buildings, particularly in the areas hit by tremors in the past weeks. During elections, public schools in the country are usually used as polling centers. Jimenez added that their primary concern is the safety of all, including voters, COMELEC personnel, and other stakeholders. He said the most important consideration here is their safety, and they want to make sure that if there are voting precincts in these areas, they should be safe and they have not been damaged by either the primary earthquakes or the aftershocks. Jimenez said they are prepared to secure the vote counting machines and other poll paraphernalia if such incidents happen. Jimenez also continued, the police are under instruction to secure the polling places, or for instance, the voting machines cannot be taken out, then the school should be locked down. He added that under deliberation is when a declaration of failure of elections will be done. Jimenez said the safest bet here is to either suspend or declare failure of elections. That decision is still being made. Millions of dollars forfeited by the company behind the Leonardo DiCaprio film Wolf of Wall Street have been sent to a Malaysian account set up to recover money looted in a massive state fraud, officials said Tuesday. Billions of dollars were stolen from Sovereign Wealth Fund 1MDB, allegedly by ex-Prime Minister Najib Razak and his cronies, in a crime that stretched around the world. The U.S. Department of Justice is in the process of seizing assets it says are linked to the scandal. It has now transferred funds that were handed over by Red Granite Pictures, the Hollywood production company behind the 2013 film about a massive stock market scam that netted its perpetrator millions of dollars. Malaysia's Attorney General Tommy Thomas said the money represented the first installment of funds recovered from assets seizures related to One Malaysia Development Berhad 1MDB. The funds totaling to $57.04 million were sent to an account especially set up to receive recovered 1MDB funds, according to his statement. U.S. prosecutors allege that the film company, co-founded by Najib's stepson Riza Aziz, was funded by money stolen from 1MDB.
Events happen around us all the time, in our community, in our country, around the world. Events that affect people, move communities, or simply inspire us. Interesting events that people need to know. In these interesting times, we continue to be a competent partner in delivering news about these events. Fast, accurate, balanced. Eagle News, because we live in interesting times.
What we call Svalbard, one of the most famous landmarks here in Stavanger, Norway. And if you want to see more of the tourist spots like this, just tune into Digital Nest every Tuesday and Thursday, 7:30 p.m. I am managing Mihia from Stavanger, Norway. Always fun with 25.
Landmarks, Linggo, alas 6 hanggang alas 7 ng gabi.
Welcome back. ASEAN and Norway reaffirmed their commitment to further strengthen their partnership at the 4th meeting of the ASEAN-Norway Joint Sectoral Cooperation Committee held at the ASEAN Secretariat. The meeting noted with satisfaction the progress made in ASEAN-Norway cooperation following the inception of the partnership 4 years ago. Both sides discussed the completed, ongoing, and planned projects in implementing the priority plan for ASEAN-Norway sectoral dialogue partnership. ASEAN appreciated Norway's support for activities of the ASEAN Institute for Peace and Reconciliation and ASEAN Intergovernmental Commission on Human Rights, as well as the development of the ASEAN Judiciary's portal, marine environment and blue economy, climate change and energy. Both sides explored opportunities to further enhance cooperation in existing areas of collaboration, as well as to tap huge potentials for cooperation in a number of areas such as trade and investment, private sector development, micro, small and medium enterprises, connectivity, narrowing of the development gap in ASEAN, biodiversity, youth, education, sustainable development, digital economy and e-commerce. Norway also briefed the meeting on the matters concerning World Trade Organization reform and modernization to promote and strengthen the multilateral trading system. The meeting was co-chaired by Deputy Secretary General of ASEAN for ASEAN Economic Community Department, Aladdin D. Rillo, and Ambassador of Norway to ASEAN, Morten Hogland, and was attended by the members of the Committee of Permanent Representatives to ASEAN. Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs of Norway, Marianne Hagen, was also in attendance. First-time job seekers will no longer have to pay for fees when they acquire government documents needed for employment. This after President Rodrigo Duterte on April 10 signed Republic Act 11261, or the First-Time Job Seekers Assistance Act, a copy of which was released to media on Tuesday. Under the new law, government fees and charges are waived in the issuance of documents required in the application of first-time job seekers, so long as they submit a barangay certification as proof. The law covers not only fresh graduates but also out-of-school youth. These documents include police clearance certificate, National Bureau of Investigation clearance, barangay clearance, medical certificate, birth certificate, marriage certificate, transcript of academic records issued by state colleges and universities, tax identification number, unified multipurpose ID, and other documentary requirements issued by the government that may be required by employers. The law creates an interagency monitoring committee in charge of monitoring the compliance of the concerned government agencies, as well as instrumentalities, and may recommend to the proper authorities the filing of an administrative complaint against any person who refuses to comply with the provisions of the Act. And that is the latest news in the Southeast Asian nations. Stay updated about the ASEAN region. I'm Maricar Velasco and I'm 1 with 25.